Corrie. It is Tuesday yet again. We find ourselves yet again on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday of May.
I cannot believe it is May, but would it be a May Tuesday if the podcast wasn't on it?
It's not, unless there's a pod, there's no Tuesday. The
There's
Tuesday
no
podcasts are married together.
But welcome to the Baking It Down with Sugar Cookie Marketing Podcast. We are actually a spin-off on a group that's on Facebook. The reason why we're a spin-off and we're not just on the Facebook is because bakers like
so sorry. And what in the boomer did you just say? We're not on the
We're on the Book of Faces. I love when they say that. We're not on the Book of Faces because bakers like to bake and sometimes they can't be sitting in front of a screen, regardless if we're always on our phones. Sometimes we have to be elbow deep in butter and flour. So this is a great way for you to listen to ways to grow your business so you feel just a tinge bit more on the know of, what trends are coming, how to sell your pre-sales, what's a hot topic in the baking world. And that's kind of what we bring to your little ears every week.
I love it. I'll take 2 used cars, please, and 1 watch.
I tried to do it less salesy. I tried to do it more conversational like.
And if you want to buy a watch.
I got one of those for you. Heather's got a quote for us, if you would like to give that.
A couple of things. If you want to get most of the access to the content we talk about in the podcast, go to the website, sugarcookiemarketing.com. And what's coming is the Main Street May collab at the end, the second to last Friday in May. We got 40 people signed up. And I think that's a solid number. 40 people are going to impact their local community by cookifying a Main Street business. Now, this is a really cool way to possibly get into corporate orders, but it's definitely a great way to get engagement from your local audience. We have our 3D printing boot camp on Thursday. Today's Tuesday, so it's in 2 days. It is all teed up and ready to go. I just have to schedule out some posts in the Facebook group that's included in that boot camp, and then we are letting you all in. And we have dropped the cherry cookie class kit. Now, this was Corrie's brainchild, and it came out really, really cute.
It's super trendy right now, cherries. And I mean, anything fruit, you got my heart. So this was a cherry themed, and it's intermediate, but it's beginner friendly intermediate. So you're not like doing I
would say it's beginner mediate.
Beginner mediate. Love that. We'll be stealing that.
I didn't come up with it, but you can copyright it by me. Trademark.
But it's very cute. It's cherries and bows, bows and cherries, cherries and bows.
That's the interesting thing. The cookie class kits, we've been doing it since 2023. That's 12 kits a year. And then we've added in some extra kits on top of that. So that's a lot of kits, but typically you follow the major holidays. This year we took a deviation to add in kits you could teach kind of whenever, which is this cherry one, which is very feminine. We got pinks, we got a lot of reds, we got whites.
The flower one we did last one, you could teach that any old time.
Yeah, so it's all really come together.
Question now you're working for you. What has been your favorite so far this year?
Let me pull them up.
We have a cherry one that just came out. We did the flowers one last month. We did a Valentine's Day one, which was Super Valentine's Day.
Oh, you did an Easter one. I'm sorry, the Easter one, and I know it's like Easter specific. It was exceptionally cute.
It was adorable. And then,
March was cute, Irish icing. And then February did love letters, and January is snow and sugar, which was a set of like a Christmas
tree. There's a sweater, snowflake tree.
It's not a Christmas tree. It is a tree.
A snow-laden tree.
A snow-laden. Corrie said, stop calling it a Christmas tree. It's not a Christmas tree. I'm going to say of these, I thought that I never have celebrated. One time I accidentally went to a bar when I was like 22 on St. Patrick's Day. Yeah. That one was stupid cute, but because I don't actually, it's so cute. It's a tie between St. Patrick's Day and I'm going to say carrots and cookies. And I know those are both holiday. He was super cute. He had a lot of skills. That was actually an intermediate class.
That was a lot of steps. There was a ton of steps in that one, but he turned out super cute because of the steps. The cherry one, I think, is just cute because, the cherries are adorable. Anything circular and red, adorable.
The cherries is so trendy. I almost wish we were teaching this one in July. We're doing frosted fruits. But
we are doing frosted fruits because it's more beginner friendly and I don't have to make as much icing bag. So we will be sticking with the frosted fruits.
Yes. And that was another deviation we took in 2026 to allow us to have more of a wide open design. We have incorporated more icing colors and icing types. The people asked and we answered. Corrie answered. I just made the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
The quote is the goal is not to go viral. The goal is to be valuable by Joe Pulizzi. And that's about the topic. So the topic today is posting consistently with a diversified strategy. A lot of the things we talk about on the podcast are different types of strategies. Strategies, you can adopt a strategy for a short time. You can have multiple strategies running. They're just different ways to approach how you market. And in this specific one, this is a content generation strategy.
Yes, me and Heather have been in the social media creation world websites for almost 10 full years. I wanted
Well,
to tell
I've
you
been
that,
doing
that.
it since I was
But
23.
together,
Wow.
fully focused on doing it for our clients. The crazy thing is, what worked 10 years ago will not work today. And I hate it and I love it at the same time. I hate it because we have to constantly be learning new things. And that's hard to do because we have so many things we're already doing. But I love it because if you're newer, if you took a big break, if you're coming back, if you're just starting out, it gives you the opportunity to break forth and you don't have to sit in line because someone started their bakery 10 years before you.
The
The
best
issue, though,
example of it is that
sure.
TikTok used to be called Musical.ly. Musically? I think it was called
Musically, that
Musical.ly.
that was very boomer of you. Music Cali.
The Musical.ly. Anyways, you could go viral by dancing. It was a dancing app, dancing on
Yes.
video. And now TikTok today, you try to dance. And unless you trip and fall, you're not going to go viral with a dancing video.
No, if anything, it's more cringe now, and now it's more relatable content. Either how-tos are, my dating life sucks. Let me tell you about the date I went on last night, behind the
I'll let
scenes.
you know I've watched every single one of those.
Yeah, I know they're so good. The thing is, we have always said you've heard it, we've said it on the podcast many times, content is king. The problem with that statement now is AI is so out there, ready and easily accessible that content is now being produced at a higher rate than even it was before. 5 years ago, not every business was on social media. Today, if a business isn't on social media, we think that either they close down or something's way wrong with it. So every business is actually on social media now, creating content. Then you have personal pages creating content. You have weird random accounts. Like I follow all the Christmas accounts creating content. Now there's so much content on the internet.
So
So
content is no longer considered king. When we had a chronological feed and not every business had Corey and I started our company, but we used to find people without websites by looking up their Google business profiles
yeah.
where people could add them themselves. The end user would add the business and there would be no website. Now it's very rare for me to find a business with no website.
And what was crazy is we had worked with businesses that had no social media
We
accounts,
were
and it
making
was
their accounts.
we looked like God on high, like
Superstar.
ah.
Marketing superstar. It was back when you used to have to use their logins. Back when the page
Yeah.
decorator was the only
She'll
item,
be
like
like Rick HVAC, and his password was like, I love my dog 234.
it was always something that wasn't good. Now with Corey, like Corey said, like to generate a piece of content and post it to social media is you can automate it at this point. You don't even have to be involved in it. And because content is now everywhere, content is no longer king. It is quality content based in a strategy that stands out in this very, very crowded arena.
Very crowded. So even just before a couple months ago, quality content was easier to attain because people would be like, "Oh, I have to log on to Canva and make this flyer." That was a few steps in between. The day got away from them, so they were never able to make the content. Now you're plugging just a little bit of information to AI, and it's just creating a flyer in 0.02 seconds, and you're able to post it. There's so much more content going up just because of the ease of making content. But
And that
Heather,
includes copy as well.
oh, that
So,
does. That does. So you
you know,
actually happened on a guy that talked about AI slop. What
yeah,
was
it was
that
an
thing that he said?
interesting take. It was a guy on TikTok, and he said, if it takes less time for you to create the content than it does to imbibe the content, you've created AI slop. Meaning, I can go to AI, say, make a flyer, make a caption, I can post it. To read that entire caption in that flyer takes longer than it took to generate it. That's AI slop. And I thought that was an interesting take because they said it's offensive to the end user because they're like, I know you didn't write this. The perception of AI generated content is there. And I don't know if we can bottle it up and label it yet, but you can start to feel in there, Corey and I were talking about Wikipedia published. Wikipedia officially banned AI generated content. You can't put
Yes.
AI generated content on Wikipedia. But in their AI generated content wiki, you can read how your people are figuring out that this is AI generated. And it's that do. It's like the rhythm, the cadence of how it likes to do comparisons. It likes the M dash. It likes all these things. But you can start to feel that people are saying something about this wasn't authentically you.
Authentic. Here's
Mhm.
the thing. Me and Heather run a local group, and it's so funny. It's on a post approval because I hate drama that much that I'm willing to read every post that goes up. So this lady had posted she was looking for a shared office space, not even something you'd probably need to run through AI, but was so funny. What she had copied and pasted to post into the group was like, hey, I can make this sound a little bit more jovial, but this should pass your community group guidelines and rules and not get pinged for
She had
disobeying the rules.
she had pasted into the copy where she was asking for the shared office space. So now this isn't an anti-AI
It
podcast. This
isn't. It
is
is not.
a how to differentiate yourself in the world of AI written captions and sales posts and posters. Because I think you're going to have to I was telling Corey, gone are the days where we used to dog on people who said, "Thanks, Tim, for your first birthday." Like, and we're like, that's not enough content. You need to have a sales, you need to have kind of a structure, follow a
Yeah.
framework. Now we need to say we're going to dog on the AI generated sales post, which has just replaced the happy birthday, Tim, with this. The cookies understood the assignment. Happy to have a happy birthday to Tim, and on your birthdays or on your special days, I am here to help. Hashtag random hashtags that make no sense.
Yeah. So I was telling my son, who I can tell is using some AI software on his homework. I said, not only do you not use these words in real life, I said there's no humanity in there. I said there's not one run-on sentence, there's not a grammatical error. Like my job was it was like parents, please read over this and see if there's any grammar errors. I'm like creating grammar errors because I'm that bad at grammar. I'm like, I think you should put a comma here. No, the comma did not belong, but I'm telling
You
my
either love or hate a comma.
either pry it from my cold dead hands or I never want to see it again a day of my life.
So
So I
no, they're
said,
like, "Why are you allergic to these
Art,
things?"
this doesn't feel like it was written by you because it feels so written by someone who isn't you. Because I know who Archer is, and Archer isn't saying, derived. I don't think I've heard the kid said derived from his entire being to the 16 years.
The subtle nuance is how much of you have you omitted from this? And you might say, well, I don't know how to incorporate myself here. And that's what these strategies kind of help us bridge the gap. And Corey's got three interesting strategies. I know if you're in the Cookie College, he had talked about them on Monday. But content that creates engagement. Now, AI is not going to be able to necessarily help you with that because you're going to have to know your audience. So Corey has been in 2026 testing these types of posts. Somebody had asked, Amber had asked, you're posting every day. What is the goal? And Corey's like, my goal are these three things. So kind of walk us through what you mean when you say content that creates engagement. And you have in parentheses polls and opinions.
Yeah, so content that creates engagement. What AI is great at doing is it will ask a question, but it's so sandwiched in so many word fluff that no one takes the time to read it. So it'd be like, I really loved creating these cookies that stood the assignment. Would you create these cookies that understood the assignment? Anyways, we're creating more cookies that understand the assignment. No one's reading the first part to even get to the second part, but AI is doing its job. You said, ask, get me engagement in this post. I'm sure
So it
that's
said,
what
I'm
the
going to
prompt
ask a
was.
question.
Yeah, and it's asking the question. The problem is because there's no you in there. People aren't taking the time to read it because it's a word salad, a question followed by word salad. What's the point? So what I'm saying, you have to have tough skin to ask people's opinions because if you get ruffled easily, it's going to be hard. But say you did two Nerf gun sets. One Nerf gun you did in a certain color scheme. The next customer wanted it. Put those side by side and says Nerf or nothing. Which one would you choose? Okay. Short, sweet, to the point. There's not one sales in there. But what I'm doing is I'm asking you, and what people say opinions are like buttholes. Everyone's got one.
Mhm.
Which one would you choose for your Nerf birthday? We don't care what the answer is. We've baked both. We've been paid for both. Our goal is to get in front of the algorithm. So asking a question that just is opinion based is a great way to get there. The other day, I did a review on a movie that I watched.
Yes, I read that. I read that.
I did not
Reddit.
like to take the selfie. I didn't want to take a selfie in the movie theater, and the movie theater has nothing to do with baking. But what my caption was, here's what a baker did on her day off. I took my son to the movies. Here's my write up of this random movie, Project Hail Mary. It is a way to connect with my audience outside of just the cookie post and the AI caption. You know, the grammatical errors there. My opinion, I liked the movie. I could say I hated the movie. It's opinion based, but its personality and it's my persona is in there. So creating content that creates engagement is a way to trick the algorithms. You know, if we're just always sell, 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 there's no engagement. People scroll, scroll, scroll. So we have to trick the algos in some way. Opinions, polls, asking where are you taking your mom for Mother's Day, asking, hey, does anyone know a good burger joint? I'm looking for something under $15. Guys, does anyone know any summer camps? You're like, but this has nothing to do with baking. I get it. And we can't just sell because that's also boring. So we have to create a conversation and creating engagement so we can trick the algos and we can get in front and we can reach more people.
I
Me and Heather were
think putting
talking.
the face to a name is kind of what
Yeah.
we can make that in a buzzword. I've seen a prevalence of AI tagged content. And now it almost seems like, so if you post to Facebook and it senses or detects that there's an AI, whether it be the subtle watermark in the Gemini
Yes.
generated stuff, or somehow it almost seems like it's able to read it in the text now. So I don't know what that means. It tags it AI. It has something, the next
It
word.
says AI info. And then when you click it, it says, we suspect that something in this post is generated by AI.
So that means the AI of Meta is tagging this post as AI generated. It's warning the end users, and I would like to think it could have the potential to depreciate the content because it senses what the end user wants and what it doesn't. So Corey's saying I'm cutting through that noise by creating content that's so not what you'd expect from a sales page, a business
Yeah.
page, that I can get in front of my audience. Everyone's competing for this audience's eyeballs. But when everyone's generating AI and Corey's like, I'm doing a movie review, possibly I can get there without having to do paid ads.
Yes. Could I plug into AI? Give me a write up for Project Hail Mary. 1,000%. It's probably going to do it way better than ever I
Just for
could do.
everyone. Project Hail Mary is the name of the movie they went to see.
Yes. And Ryan, I want to say Ryan Gosling's in there. He looks great. I think he's our age. The guy looks
Oh,
like he
she
hasn't aged
is.
today.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little older. I don't know. He looked fantastic. His
Oh,
skin.
okay, fine.
I'd love
How
to
old
know
do you
his
think he is?
skin regimen. The
How
thing
old?
is, I could type that into AI. AI is going to spit out the best movie review
Corey's
that you
45.
would probably need to read to want to go to that movie. But then you're like, "Nah, I still don't trust it. If I'm like, hey guys, I don't like sci-fi, but I was actually didn't want to go to the bathroom in the middle of the movie because I didn't want to miss the next part. You're going to be more apt because I'm a human being and I'm telling you a true human experience on that. So you're going to be more apt to read through it. That's a big goal, spending time with it. We think of engagement as only likes, comments, and shares. Engagement is so much more than that. It's tracking if you watch the video. It's tracking the lurkers on your page that never do anything, but they expand the caption, they expand the comments, they click through the photos, they watch the video, they replay the video. That's what it's tracking. And that is a way that you're signaling to the algorithms this content's kind of good. People are sticking around for this content. Let's put it in more feeds. It's keeping people on the platform.
It's keeping people on the platform. So now we can serve them the ads we got paid for. So remember, Meta's service is always trying to keep people on the platform by having an experience that they want. I don't want to call it an enjoyable experience because some people like having a miserable experience. It's
Yes.
going to try to reward that miserable experience with misery and
Mhm.
enjoyable experience with enjoyment. That said, so it can keep you there long enough to give you that advertisement for Ray-Ban Meta glasses.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Heather were talking before while we were discussing this podcast topic. A big engagement bucket that some people love to pull from is the drama bucket. Unfortunately, with cookies, they're not that dramatic. If we think about cookies in general, they're slightly boring. We're doing the same baby and bloom set for the 52nd time. So there's not much drama to pull from. You do see that you can pull into not necessarily drama, but you can be like, the hook. I can't believe this client would ask for this set. Yeah. And then proceed to be like, because I love Diet Coke so much, and this was a Diet Coke set, super trendy right now. Those are hooks that you can bring people in. We don't want to be like, I hate my customers, and here's why. If you're gonna buy from me and question my prices, how dare you? That will pop off, I promise you, because it's dramatic. The problem is you can't pull from that every day because we're like, oh, here Corey goes again, another drama post.
There's a sometimes when we think of dramatic, we think of like anger and yelling. There's also the drama of quitting, which is a sad, tearful, hanging up the old
Yeah.
apron, calling it quits, guys. That is a type of drama because it invokes an emotion. So
Anytime I see a baker post hanging up the old apron, I actually go look at the prior post before it, and it will have just an average number of likes. Let's say it'll have 11 likes, maybe 2 comments. The hanging up the apron post will always do like phenomenal numbers. It'll have like 82 likes, 27 comments, and shares, which is crazy because that's not what their typical page post performs like.
what kind of happens in the brains of somebody who's like trying to crack the code of engagement is like, wow, that sad post did really well. I'm going to constantly hit up the sad content bucket. But how many times can you cry wolf and quit before people realize, oh, this is just a publicity stunt of sorts?
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
It's a ticking time bomb. It's got an expiration date on it.
Right, because your audience will then feel duped. It's interesting in our area. Apparently, there's a lady named Rosa who works for Mama Lucia's in a mall I used to go to get our uniforms when we were 12. I I would have never known she was there. However, they made a post and they said, Mama Rosa from Mama Lucia, she's worked here for 39 years. She has to retire. So this will be our last week in business. She has health issues. The entirety of Northern Virginia has flocked that mall to buy the food. It's actually become a problem because people were getting upset. They weren't getting the food, but this
Yeah.
tiny shop who's winding down hit the content bucket of street because you got an old lady. She's worked her whole life here and now she needs money for medicine. Like it evoked in a lot of people an emotional response, but they can't put Rosa back in to do that
And take her
again.
back out.
Right. We can't keep having this because but you see that drama, those drama type posts do perform better than the average post. It's the reason why we hate rubberneckers, but when it's our turn to drive past a car accident, my head is on a swivel. Like the thought of even not looking at the car accident would drive me up the wall.
Yeah, and the reason why people were like, well, I'm just closing up the apron. I don't know why people are so it's relatable content. Like there's a struggle somewhere in there. I'm gonna expand it to see if your struggle is the same as my struggle, because if we're struggling the same, I feel one, sympathy towards you and empathy towards you. If it's something I can't relate to, I'm like, another baker bit the dust. That content performs really well. It's so hard to always and it's this psychological, you got a reward for being dramatic, so it makes sense. Let me keep being dramatic, but I promise you, your audience groweth tired because not everything is a level 5 alarm when it comes
Corey
to
had a great example last year. She had a cancer diagnosis and she was like, I don't necessarily want to post about my private life. And I'm like, well, that's not fair to people who really want to encourage you about your private life. So she ended up posting about it and it performed really well.
it was the
It
best
had
performing post of the year,
it was
unfortunately.
vulnerability. It was, empathetic. It was sympathetic. It was all the emotions. But now Corey can't be like, I got cancer again. Like we can't keep hitting the content bucket without exhausting our audience. But you can
Yes,
see that the vulnerability of letting people in is closer to that. So Corey's review of the movie
yes,
is it kind of peeling back the onion layers of sales and being like, and here's a person who's making the sale.
yes. And that is my next one, which is content that connects. Connecting to your audience is huge in this onslaught of so much content that's being created. The AI flyer, which has been a hot topic in local groups that I've seen, they're like, if I see this, I scroll right on by. You know, that is not connecting with your audience. You're checking a box, you're getting a post up, your page has been posted to, but there is no connection. You're not even in the post itself. AI did the heavy lifting there. I do not like to share my personal life anywhere. I'm a very private person, but what I have said, how can I ask someone to like, know, and trust me, which equals sales, if they never get to know me? That's very hard to do. That's asking a lot of my audience. So I, for the longest time, was just another cookie baker. You didn't know Corey, you just know Mixing Bowl made cookies. That's great because that's what I am, the business that makes it. But why buy from Mixing Bowl? Why not buy from the lady down the street? What's in it? And it's that connection aspect. So you also need content that connects, whether you're connecting your audience with your other audience, that's great. You're creating a community, very hard to do, by the way. SCM is a community. We've had inside jokes. Greg Yerical, we have had beads, that was huge.
Prop fridge, ants. Yeah.
Prop fridge, baked ants. That community aspect is huge because you can see now in SEM, people like Heather will be like, tag a baker you found in SEM that your friend. People will be like, I met this baker in SEM 6 years ago, and we're still friends to this day. Community and connection are huge when it comes to standing out and making your business memorable. People buy cookies maybe once or twice per year on average, for birthdays and maybe a holiday here and there. So how can they think of me between those two times? That's very hard to do when we can't even remember what we had for dinner last night.
Corey and Against My Will and I started a community group in her area. And the rule to be able to sell in the community group is that each week you have to make one non-sales post. And there's the businesses, the business owners that get it. It's women only. It's the women who get it and the women who do not see
Yeah.
that we're actually trying to help them build a level of trust within that group before they make the sales pitch. So it becomes the issue of make a non-sales post before you make a sales post. It'll be the most low effort non-sales post. And then when it comes to Sales Saturday, it'll be a lot of effort in the sales post. And we're like, no, what you're missing here is it wasn't the request to just post slop. It
Yes.
was the request that you build into this community. People will recognize you as a pillar or a source of information, and then you come in and you cash in on that. And when most people don't seem to see the correlation there, is that we're helping you build trust by forcing your hand here. But if you're doing the most low effort way to build trust, well, there's no trust built. The meme's not
Yeah.
cutting it.
Yeah. Here's the thing in my local area, which this local group is, HOA has just issued 1 bajillion violations to absolutely everybody. Everyone is struggling with an HOA violation.
Did you
The
get one?
way, yeah, I got one too. I got two. The way to connect with someone is on the non-sales post. Be like, anyone else got an HOA violation? I'm looking for someone who could come and mow my lawn on this day because I have to have it done by this day. I can be empathetic and sympathetic towards that because, yeah, I need a lawn guy to come to mine. My foundation separating in the front needs to have some grass over it. That's what the HOA violation was. If they just phoned it in, shared a meme that, was maybe like, you're a mom, you deserve a day. You check the box, but you didn't connect. You missed the connection part. And the connection part is, well, Corey had an HOA violation. I was able to help her. Now she made this sales post. I would like to connect with Corey more. I'll support her that way. And it might not be I get a sale from them next week, but I might get a sale from them next year.
Or you might get them referring you to somebody. Oh, I know Corey's in this
Yeah.
group and she did this.
Yes.
Always, Corey and I laughed when we implemented the rule of one non-sales post per sales post, which was, let me tell you, like turning a aircraft carrier around.
Whatever that is. If it's difficult, that's what it was.
It was difficult. A woman said, I don't know what to post on the non-sales day. And we're like, but you know what to post on the sales day. She's like, right. Well, I guess I just won't make the sales then. Like, instead of like
Yeah.
seeing that for what it was, great connection. And we're like, it can literally be a picture of your plate of food at a restaurant in the area. It doesn't even have to be in that specific area. And she was like, well, then I guess I just won't post whatever that is. And it was probably just being difficult because she didn't want to be told no. But the thing is, what we're trying to say is connect with these people and then cash in on that connection because, like Corey keeps saying, know, like, and trust.
What's so funny, I was on a walk and I ran into my exact neighbor. I like my neighbor because we can do the whole, hi, see ya, have a good one. Okay, on this walk, her dog wanted to say hi to me, so I had to linger for just a little bit more. And she said, hey, Corey, I've been missing those videos that you and your sister did when you went about town and showed places.
Oh,
I've
funny.
been wanting to go to Bourbon and Fig, and I just don't know what to expect when I get there. And I said, you know what? On May 22nd, I'm doing this collab where we do highlight a business, and I should probably do Bourbon and Fig with my sister. That's a great point. Does she comment on the videos I do? She's in that group. No, she doesn't. But she was imbibing them. So me being in the video review and showcasing the thing was actually helping me, and I didn't even know it.
And
So we'll
that's
have to go bring
building
it.
that the strategy again is content that creates engagement. And now we have content that connects with the audience. Why we do these collabs. The Main Street uh, May collab
Yeah.
is a great way to connect with your audience and showcase a cookie. So the collabs always have that marketing spin and that connection with the audience. If you're struggling to get engagement or traction, try out one of these collabs because it's going to be one different than what you're posting, which is now the AI version of thanks Tim for turning two.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be able to relate cookies because you're cookifying a local business to the local area where people either say, I want to try that, or I love that place,
Yeah.
or I hate that place, which is still engagement.
It's still, here's the thing. In June, it's going to be a Meet the Baker, the collab. That's the lowest hanging fruit because you're literally talking about you, me. Here's why I started. Here's what I love for cookies. Here's when I started with my
Everyone's
grandma.
favorite topic, thumbs out.
It's themselves, and it's going to perform well because you're getting in front of the camera and you're showcasing the humanity behind your business. The problem is that you also can't sleep on the ones that's the Main Street Cookie Collab in the Piper Park because those are resourceful. Those are showing you like, guys, I'm in the same community that you are. Here's my face behind this cookie that I'm holding at a park you've probably passed, and now you're like, wow, Corey really is sitting in the same traffic I am. I kind of like her a little bit more. And I learned about this park and I learned about this business. So, yes, the low hanging, easy to do collabs are easy to do. Like the AI collab was hard to do because we were literally recreating things. And you can see the numbers are a lot lower on the collabs that are a lot harder to do. But
Because
it's
the
not,
effort's higher, but the payout is also
yeah,
higher.
you're not investing in me and Heather. I could care less if you do the collab. If my competitors don't do the collab, I'm happy because that means I have more chance to end up in more feeds. The thing is, this is you investing into your business, and that's harder to do because you can't just plug it into AI and have it spit out something. You're literally getting in the car, driving to a park, and being like, okay, they have a doggy water bowl. Let me note that. They have the little bike fix thing. They have some workout equipment that, you're putting yourself in your business, the humanity part, and that's why people buy from you and not the grocery store or the lady down the street. It's because they like you.
I always say real estate agents, there's so many of them since
Yes.
the 2006 and 7 housing boom and the 2008 housing market crash. We have a lot of licensed real estate agents in the area competing with us. We also have a high cost of living area and a lot of people moving. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
because of the military, there's a lot of transients. So the real estate agents have what I feel is always the highest level of competition for that newsfeed.
They do. They
And
do.
they've kind of found themselves in these unique places where they're creating local content. So we talk about this one, it's called The Burn, but all they do is publish what's coming and what's left. And that is weirdly a sense of drama. So I like to read it. It's also a sense of curiosity and it's also hyper local. But they're a real
And
estate agent.
resourceful.
It's
Resourceful. What's coming? We'd love to know
Yeah,
that.
I love to hate that it's a mattress discounters. I
Yeah.
hate that it was something I didn't know was there now it's closing. So what you see the real estate agents do in a higher level with, the higher margin because they're selling houses and stuff, they create this more interesting content. But we as bakers are like, I don't know what to post. I don't know. I'm just going to post my cookies. Nothing's working, right? But look at what the real estate agent, they're not just posting their listing. They're posting this all really fascinating content where they're going to this restaurant or they're trying this drink or they're going to this networking event. They're producing content and then they're turning around and telling us. And now we think, oh, wait, that's a real estate agent.
Yeah. And
I was listening to this real estate agent.
that's a great tie-in. Cookies are boring. Real estate is boring. So we're working with two kind of very boring verticals because cookies is just sugar, flour, and a cute design. Houses, there's probably a bathroom, a kitchen, and it's for sale. Because we can't always pick from the drama content that maybe influencers do or some other, especially like carpet cleaners when they showcase a house and you're like, oh, the house is disgusting. Like they're going to get clicks just because the house is dirty. We're more boring like real estate agents. So you'll be like, the real estate agent's showing this food place, but they're not a commercial real estate agent. But that food place, that restaurant is in the area that they service, where their number one clients that they sell most of their homes to. Interspersed in there are sales because they do need to make a living, but they become a resource to their audience. And then now I'm not thinking of this real estate agent, Sampson Properties. I'm thinking of Jill Mathis with Sampson Properties.
Mhm. Yeah, it really just kind of blends there. So when you're like, well, I don't know what to post, it's because you're just thinking hyper focused on like, do I post this cookie again and again and again? No, but the answer is no. With this strategy, you're going to do content that engages, content that connects, and that connection is going to be more of that interpersonal, that personal stuff, you
Yeah.
know? And
Kid
I
graduating. Your son finally won his lacrosse game. Your husband lost a job but got a new one.
I can see
You,
that one does well when there's like an adversity we would all hate to be in, and then we rise from the ashes and we find this option, or we can support somebody. You
yeah,
can't always pull from that. Hubs can't keep losing his job
I know.
before we start getting divorce recommendations. But some you're probably thinking of this and be like, okay, post this on Instagram or Facebook page. But I'm saying post this in groups, specifically the content that connects in community groups. As the admin myself, I love it. I almost want to kiss the poster who gives us that nugget that they could have posted anywhere, but they
Yeah,
chose our group to do it. Like
yeah,
that's where you can really get a lot of connection. And remember, everything's governed by its own algorithm. Groups are different than pages. I think pages are the most appreciated, and groups are kind of in their new heyday. That's why you see a lot of group technology coming out, like this nickname stuff, the incentive to go public versus private, and these anonymous features, right? Because I think Facebook's like, we have a way to keep people on the platform by using these groups, which have killed off forums, anonymous forums.
yeah. Here's just a vertical, like if you did the Main Street Cookie collab and you're like, yeah, I want to be resourceful. I want to show off the restaurant, but how can I tie it back to cookies? If you always like did a printed logo of their cookies and you did a short reel, and listen, I hate to be in front of the camera, but you're seeing my face because the algorithms require it. And I say, guys, we're at Bourbon and Fig. And then I take a bite of the cookie. Let's head on in. I've tied the cookies into the video. And you're like, wow, what weird. Why is she eating a cookie? In a caption, hey, I'm Corrie with Mixing Bowl Cookie Company. I like to go around and showcase the restaurants because I love supporting small business. Blah.
Love it. And then show them the parking lot because everybody likes to know what the parking sitch is.
They do. They do. And our last one is content that converts. I wish we could just be influencers, but we do need to make sales because that's what our business does. So in intersperse with this 80-20 rule, like me and Heather like to say, 80%, quality content, 20% sales. You have seen some lady finally was like, I know a national holiday because I come to your page and you're always posting about them. That's my covert sale. That's my way to post a random set on a random Tuesday and be like, Happy Cinco de Mayo. What it does is it's showcasing that I can make quality cookies with clean lines and clean lettering under the guise of something that doesn't feel so salesy. It's not like buy my cookies. Granted, if you're doing pre-sales, we're going to be asking straight up for the sale because we got a time to lock in. But if you're focused on customs and you're book out a few months in advance, you have a little bit more wiggle room there. A
To
little bit
create that
more.
really interesting content. I think
Yes.
sometimes when we're booked out, we're like, power down the system, like turn off the lights, we're booked. But when you're booked, you can stop doing so many call to action. You can lean into these other ones, the content that engages and the content that connects. And then leave off maybe reduce it down to 10% if you're booked out, or, kind
Yeah.
of say, kind of opening up new things or whatever that is. But powering down the whole business
The whole
because you're booked is not a great long-term strategy.
I want to be sympathetic to people who say, I started this bakery business because I just want to bake. I'm fully with you 100%. I understand a lot of bakers are introverted because, we started this in the privacy of our own home and we were hoping to continue it that way. With social media being so big and you looking to grow your business, you can't tell the algorithms what you want them to do. They're telling you what they're requiring of you. So, yes, getting in front of the camera is not my favorite thing to do. Snapping a photo in the movie theater while people are around me, I hate it. I went
Not
to,
when the movie was playing. You're making yourself
no,
seem bad
no.
in
If
movies.
you go, the lights are on, people are there. The movie was empty. So I was like, this is going to
I
be
even said to
horrible.
Archer, he was sending me pictures, and I was like, "Are you guys there long? Do you know the place?"
I went to the local farmer's market on Sunday and I felt an out of body experience to have my phone on me, filming my feet walking through the market. But Did I die? No.
Corey's coming up this week to go walk Harper's Ferry. I bought an annual pass. So she can use that content as a weekend getaway. It's not that far from where she is locally and feature some local things that people, if you want to do a day trip, is what you'd call it, for that local content that connects. So you can really turn anything with just a few photos into one of these types of strategies.
Yeah, yeah. And I am filming a video that I'm gonna post on Sunday, a Sunday reset day with a for a baker. And it just shows that, I cleaned the house. I got a last minute order. I baked those. I printed a cookie cutter. I went for a walk. And what it's tying people to is my humanity. Oh wow, she cleans too? I didn't know
But
she
there's
had a vacuum
also,
cleaner.
it's subtly about your cleanliness.
It is. It's showcasing my business. You'll see my dog in that video. You're like, but Corey, dogs and cookies. I do have a dog. So people who are like, ooh, dogs and cookies, they're not my ideal client because I do have a dog. But the people who are like, I'm okay with dogs. It's $1 billion industry. Odds are a lot of people have dogs are seeing like she does have a dog. And I like dogs, so I like that she likes dogs, but she's also clean, and I like that she's clean because I'm ordering food from her.
Right. It's interesting. It would be inauthentic. And I understand why people would have a tendency to think this way. It would be inauthentic to be like, I love dogs. My dog is my best bud. And then to act like you've never seen a dog in your life when it comes to your business. It would be hard. You'd be quite the actor to
Yeah.
be able to pull off hating dogs and loving them at the same time. So when you're trying to build that authentic brand, while you can appeal to everybody who doesn't like dogs and people who do, just being yourself does shine through. I think it's hard to not be ourselves.
It is hard. So AI for me and Heather were talking about people who had a hard time writing the caption. So the words that go with a post. AI was a shining grace that came down from above because not only is it giving you the words to say, it's structured it correctly, it's grammatically correct, it's got a FOMO in there. You guys better book now because we're running out of time in June for grad orders, something like that. The problem is the more that and more that people use AI, the more everyone starts sounding the same. And you see, it's easy to scroll by things that sound the same.
It was funny. Corey and I were talking about this the other day. Have we reached a point where incorporating a typo is actually the strategy to prove that it was handwritten?
Yeah.
Is the misplaced comma the one you need?
The run-on sentence, the paragraph of text, is that where it belongs? So Heather, so funny. I don't know how commas work. I know you take a breath, and sometimes I'm like, I want to breathe here, and then sometimes I don't want to breathe here.
Corey would be like in the middle of the word.
What's so funny, every time I write on Meta, like Facebook, it's like, do you want us to rewrite this? There's some grammatical errors in this. But I'm like, no, no, I like to breathe mid-sentence.
But having really nicely written post and grammar was a sign of professionalism. But it's just funny, like AI, the AI tide has risen the bare minimum of what's acceptable as a post.
Yeah,
So it's almost like doing the counterculture of having an unprofessional post is what's cutting through the just overwhelming
yeah.
flood of
We
noise.
get our marketing company gets emails scraped all the time because my email's listed on the website. So they send these robots, the robots scrape the email and they mass send emails. I got one last week. It was like, hey, this isn't written by AI. Like that was the subject. Hey, this isn't written. I was like, because they all are.
Was it written by AI? Was it
It
written?
was I didn't even I just caught the subject line and I said, I don't know, I don't believe you.
There's this crazy dude in a car group and he sells high-end cars, right? He's just chaotic. But he started incorporating AI written sales captions. And it's funny, his audience were like, we do not like seeing you. We like the chaos. So his AI captions are really long and comprehensive and
Yeah.
actually include all the information you need. However, the audience was like, this isn't what we want. Then last night, he took a screenshot of his competitors and smudged out their phone number and put his own there. And people were like, this is the content
Yeah.
we paid for. And it was like,
Like,
wow, the uncurated, just raw stuff is what's performing so much better for this guy than this curated, listicle emoji
yeah.
cadence.
Me and Heather were talking about this bagel shop. This bagel shop is in just I'm enamored by it because she breaks all the technical rules of social media. She posts 52 times a day. She sells out early and people complain and she addresses it head on. Like she's like, and to the people who are mad today, like some things I would never do. It was so funny. She's been so authentic in her business that she goes viral quite often, especially viral for a local business.
For a
Like
bakery that closes early, like it's really hard.
Yeah,
what she's
she's
been able to accomplish.
she's got the algos working for her. Recently she did an AI post. Like, so it was just created by AI, nothing out of the normal. They're everywhere, everyone's doing it. But her audience did not like it because they didn't feel like it was authentic to her. Of course, she made another post. It's like, there ain't enough time today. And that one performed well, but
It
her
was
typos,
authentically
yeah,
her.
she was authentic in her rebuttal.
That's why I say there is like AI has a great place. Like it's filling in gaps, but it can't be the end all be all. It can't be the ending point. It's got to be along the path of let me take this and then go back and make it sprinkle my own humanity back in.
Yeah, me and Heather have done a lot of HVAC websites. And the thing with HVAC websites, the more boring it is, the better it is, but and then it seems like then every HVAC website looks and sounds the same. So people who click to three different HVAC websites are like, which one do I choose? They all sounded like they are trustworthy and they're not going to steal my money. So
It's
if
funny.
you,
I got a request from a cousin's friend and he wanted an HVAC website. And I said, there's a reason they all look similar because it builds trust. But to stand out, we need to take photos of you at
yes.
the house, shaking the hand. But he was like, well, I don't like how I look. Can we get somebody else? I was like, no, dude, that's what they want to see. But I was like, right now, your HVAC website looks like a CrossFit gym. And right on the top, it said the AI summary of our reviews. And I was like, oh my goodness, we almost have to hate AI as this brand. And I was thinking about in terms of his positioning, because he was a firefighter HVAC, you need to lean into firefighter and you
Yes.
need to lean into being the little guy. Remember, because in our area, all the HVAC companies were bought out by these conglomerates. Him saying, I am the little guy is the differentiator. When that used to be the detractor, I'm the little guy and I'm here to steal your money. Now we're the
It
little guy and I'm here to add that custom care that you used to know and love.
And that makes no sense because he's probably like, I want to be like the big guys. So don't I need to replicate what the big guys do? No, your differentiator is that you're the little guy. That's going to get you to the big guy money.
Well, I would
But
say the
you,
big guys realized the little guys where the money at. They bought these companies but did not rebrand
yeah,
them.
they kept their same small names. So
Yeah.
even though they're a big conglomerate, they still have like Twin Air. And I'm like, Twin Air, I know that man sold because he sold out to ARS,
Yeah.
American Residential Services.
My grandmother loved, I don't know, their tagline was the stand-up guys, and their thing was we're behind the
Snell.
company. Snell. So Snell sold out in the last couple of
Sure did.
years. And then of course now it's not so much that we're doing what's right, it's a ticketing system. They have to get in and out as quickly as possible with as many upsells, right? Because it's now a money generating thing. But my grandma's like, something's changed about the company. So we Googled it and we're like, oh, they sold. And she's like, I just wish they were still the little guys. So now the marketing pivots to like, we are the little guys. Get AI away from me and give
Yeah.
me, I'll shake your hand myself. And I told him, I said, your friend's going to hate this, but he needs those little blue booties that they wear on the bottom of their shoes.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, we're not appealing to men. We're appealing to the stay-at-home wife or the mother who is letting him in with her children to fix a huge issue with their AC in the dead heat of summer. That's who we're speaking to.
Yeah. And that feels so weird because we're like, we want to be big. We're trying to grow our bakeries. If I just show them that I'm a stay-at-home mom that's struggling some days because my kid didn't sleep at night, that feels small. That feels tiny. I feel minuscule. But that is what's winning right now on this world where everything feels ginormous. How can you be
The
yourself?
person, right.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. Corey got hired, and a bunch of bakers across the nation got hired by Coach to create local. They had to be these specific for designs, but there was no parameters around exactly what they
Mm-mm.
expected from the bakers. So now all these bakers came, and I said, well, that's such a unique way for Coach, a conglomerate, to get on the level of hyper local. So Corey brings these cookies to the store in the mall that we love to go to. And all these people at the mall got to experience a hyper local baker. Not, and you can tell because they went for the full custom. It wasn't just like, it just wasn't all printed. It was these hand piped things you mixed in printing, but it
Yeah.
felt hyper local. For a big company to do that, I find it to be very unique form of marketing in this current day and age.
The craziest part, great on Coach, every one of us little small bakers ran to make a post that Coach had invested in the little man. They got so much more runway. out of their marketing because they didn't hire one giant company that printed them off and sent it to them. They hired a bunch of little people like me who was like, guys, I made it big. Coach finally knocked on my door,
The wild part is Corrie takes this coach post and posts it in all the local community groups where she gets the most engagement because people are like, oh, I love Coach too. And
Yeah.
here's a coach as a cookie. Coach got a bunch of free marketing. I bet they couldn't have paid you for that marketing. They paid you for the cookies and then you did the marketing for
Oh,
free.
I said, oh, I will be your best marketer this week.
So just think that's just an interesting way when the tide changes to be like everyone look big, probably to be able to cut through is look small, look organic. You're getting, you say before it was efficiency. When you call into the call center, people were complaining, and this is an interesting story from Jeff Bezos, is that he said the biggest complaint is that people were calling in and having to wait for 2 hours for customer support.
Mhm.
So then they said, let's make customer support shorter. And they got it down to like 2 minutes, but they were like, people were still upset because I think it was something funny, like it was actually hanging up on them. But you see, when everyone moved to automated answering, now you can see the marketing is when you call, you speak to a real person,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
we've
know?
gone full circle.
Yeah. And it's always going to be that shifting of the tides. When people look big, go small. When people look small, go big. And then, that was,
I no, I totally agree. It was so funny with me and Heather's marketing company. We had someone who inquired, and they're like, "Yeah, I think I've seen your trucks around." No, you have not. We do not have a truck, but we portrayed ourselves as bigger online because it was more trustworthy at that time. Now, if we wanted to get new business, we would be like, "Hey, these two
hey, you're working
twins."
directly with us. You're calling in. We're not call, you're
A
not,
squeaky voice, you're going to hear it on the other line.
Yeah, in web development, it used to be like we can make you a website and it'll work really well. Then it became like you work with us and we're not hiring it out to India. Like you get it made in America by America. Like that kind of, and you can kind of see how. So as AI has changed the landscape, which has been one of the most drastic shifts in marketing I've ever seen, because it
Yeah.
was the day OpenAI opened GPT, whatever, to users, it was shifted everything that day.
I have to say, my son, we were on our way to school this morning and we were behind a plumber's truck, and his logo was an octopus. And my son, I wasn't saying anything, but my son was like, "It's really weird that he has an octopus as his logo." And I said, "Yeah, it's odd. He's holding every plumber utensil in his 8 little tentacles." I said, "Maybe they're like saying we can do it all." And he's like, "Yeah, you would think they would just have like a man with a belt on." And then he paused and he said, "If every plumber's truck had a man with a belt on, they'd all look the same."
Uh-huh.
And I said that you have just mastered what that 8 tentacle octopi on the back of the truck is doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just real interesting, you know. So that takes us through that. So the strategy here is, Corey is testing. I think you're trying to post once a day or something, right?
I am. It doesn't have to be once a day. I just wanted to see what happens with my numbers if there's so much more content going up now everywhere. Do I need to be just as prevalent? Me and Heather were talking about it though. If you make AI slop or trash content and people are scrolling by your daily posts now and never engaging, you signal to the algorithms your content isn't good. So you'd actually be working against yourself just trying to check the box to post something every day. If you can post 5 times a week quality content and people stop and engage with it, I think that's where the answer is. So I have been posting every day. I think I will actually go back down and post 4 or 5 times when it's really quality, like when it's a movie review or I'm asking an opinion or it's a national holiday or I'm really excited about it. I said I did.
Yeah. It's just real fascinating how that all works. So I hope you guys, if you're struggling with what to post, this could be a nice strategy. Again, a strategy can be for a short time. You can implement it for 30 days. Let's say you do it for the month of May or you do it for the month of June. I can't believe we're already talking about June. I
I
felt like a
know.
curse word, 4-letter word, June. But I would say, yeah, tides are changing, tides are shifting, and it doesn't mean you got to drown. You can still grab a life jacket and float in the opposite direction.
Yeah, inject yourself in there. If you love a comma, have a double comma in there somewhere.
I would tell you, if this is something you haven't done before, it will feel like an out of body, strange alien experience to post it. Trust the
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
Corey's
Um,
telling you from the point of experience, it seems to be working for her right now, right? Do you feel like your engagement has increased?
it says my photos have increased my engagement by 268%. Like percent over 100. We're way over 100. We're 268%. Fantastic. It's telling me that's what My audience wants to connect with me. My dog turns 10 tomorrow. I'm
Happy
like,
birthday, Raymond. What I move?
Ray, that's a great way. And I know Baker's like, dogs, cookies. No, that's showcasing I got an old dog. I grew him from a baby to an old man. He's a senior citizen, a super senior now. That's a great way to connect. So just thinking outside the box a little bit and incorporating yourself
I
because
think what's
you,
interesting is Corey's going to do a clean my house with me on Sunday. She's also going to mention she has a dog. Now, what you don't want to do is mention you have a dog and the dog's sitting on your baking tray. There is a right and a wrong way.
yes, yes, yeah. I know that you've heard our older sister looks at everything but the subject matter of a photo. So what we want to make sure is we don't have our kid with, the elbow deep in the flour of the set we're about to make because did you wash the kids' hands? We don't know. But having your kids as a showcase in your business big.
Uh-huh.
The kids eating the dough that you're about to use, not big, not great.
Not great. Might get you some drama though. Maybe that's your goal. So something to consider there. Moving on, unless you have anything else to add.
That's all I have.
We have our 3D printing bootcamp launches on May 7th, which is today's Tuesday. So that will be Thursday. Got it all teed up and ready to go. Corey said, if someone takes a bootcamp, what will they learn? I said, if somebody takes this bootcamp, they'll have the correct printer, the correct filament, and they'll be printing their first cookie cutter in 2 days. Assuming,
And
okay, you have to order the printer, so you got to wait for shipping times, but I bought it. So that is, if you take this class and you do not know how to print cookie cutters, you will know how to print cookie cutters.
then that's our goal is I told Heather these boot camps need to be focused on people with not a lot of time, but they need a solution fast. So the next one after this is going to be about videos, how to create videos. And it's going to be, quick and dirty. It's not going to be where, lights, camera, action. It's going to be where you know how to set it up. The apps that I use. You can create a quick reel. You can put photos and videos in a template and create something so that it works with your business, not you become a full movie theater production agency.
Yeah, I said to Corey, I'm trying to do this rug tufting thing, and it is hard when there's not a group that's admin liked SEM where I can't ask a dumb question and have people be rude. It's hard to learn.
Yeah.
It's just not ideal.
It's
So
discouraging.
yeah, I left a group this week because I was like, guys, where are my feelings? I'll come back later as a nickname and post. But what I was saying is what I wouldn't give for somebody to give me 3 hours worth of content to get started with the right materials because it's
Yeah.
costing me a fortune to buy the wrong things. So what we said, these boot camps are somebody who said, I have this problem. I want a solution. I want to watch a couple hours of content that's focused just on the solution. So our old boot camps, which we started in February, was in-person cookie classes. March was food photography that sells. April is pre-sale start to finish. May being 3D cookie cutters, you can go back and buy those modules. Now, I want to tell people the boot camp was an effort to show you guys what the cookie college is. We were saying like the cookie college kind of exists behind this paywall and this big curtain. It feels like the Wizard of Oz. Like, don't look over there. So we were saying in 2026, how can we get people to experience a cookie college without having to necessarily sign up yet? And these boot camps come with a lot of perks. And I'm really happy with how the 3D printing one came out. So I give you a couple STL files, but Cookie Cutters by Nori has created a custom file just for the bootcamp attendees. And Cookie Design Lab, which is one of the modules within this bootcamp, is giving everyone who attends, who pays for, or is a Cookie College member, a week of Cookie Design Lab. So you can take those skills right into the real world. And that's all included in the $13. And to sweeten the deal, get your $13 back by signing up for the Cookie College during the bootcamp, and you get all that future content as well. So we're really focused this year on letting you guys know what a treasure trove the Cookie College has grown to be over this many years and this much content.
Yeah.
Somebody says, how often do you update the course list? And I say 4 to 5 times a month. The Cookie College gets a boot camp. The digital downloads gets a digital download kit. The transfers get about 4 to 8 transfers, and then the Cookie Class kits gets a kit as well. So that's constantly being updated, and that Cookie College membership gets all of it.
Yeah, gets all of it and a community. So the community, you're like, but at the end of the community, it's not hyper focused. It's more broad. We have to police it a lot more. In the Cookie College private Facebook group, we are doing Monday morning lives where we check in and we have a Monday morning meeting. We have posts in there and challenges. So challenges, whether it be, a water drinking challenge, a walking challenge. I can't remember all the challenges we've done over the years. There's been a
We did a
busy.
sleeping challenge. We did a photo organization
We
challenge. We
did.
did a decluttering challenge.
Oh, we did a touch a challenge.
They
We had to touch
asked they
everything.
asked us to bring the challenges back, but incorporate them with the boot camp. So this month, I'm going to build some challenges in the Cookie College about creating cookie cutters, finding we use even Canva and kind of incorporating what we learned in this boot camp and bring it into that Cookie College group so that the learning keeps going on.
Yeah. 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 It's been fantastic. That group is in it to win it. Let me tell you.
What I think I'm going to do, and I challenge you to this, Corey, is I usually do an onboarding membership live on the second Monday of each month in the Cookie College group. But I was thinking of shifting that and doing it in the Sugar Cookie Marketing group so people can see what's included in
Oh, that's
that.
fun. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And I mean, Heather, I've tuned into just about every single one of those
You
because I
have
like
not
to
missed one.
heckle Heather in the comments.
Yeah, I always say, of course, here, okay. Even when I don't tell her, she still finds a way. So our upcoming boot camps, we have 3D printing cookie cutters, and that's in 2 days. June is creating cookie videos. So Corey's just like we're doing at the boot camp that starts on Thursday. I go to the Bamboo website and I tell you exactly what to order and how to get it the cheapest. Like Corey's going to tell us which stand. I know she's bought 50 of them, so she's going to tell you what's trash, what's keep. And then we have in July cracking community groups, and that's because we feel like July is a bit slower for bakers. Now you can start setting the groundwork for cashing in at Christmas.
And that the community group one goes back to today's podcast topic where Heather said the lady was like, I don't know what to post when it's not for me and making sales. This is that. This is how to overcome that and create the relationship so that your sales posts do pop off.
That was a big challenge we did in the college. It was 30 days of posting in a community
Yeah.
group, and we only sold twice in those 30 days.
Yeah.
And
Craziness,
someone said they
crazy
had
work.
secured quite a few orders. The challenge is best laid plans. She had gone through the entire 30 days, and not everyone did. And she's like, wow, it really did pay off.
That's fantastic. I know Donna tunes into my Monday morning lives, and I'm like, sorry guys, we keep talking about content creation. It's good. She's like, my page has grown 8 to 10 people every week since we started doing this. And I said, that's
Consistency.
awesome.
Consistency and quality content. In August, I have an exciting one for Procreate, kind of incorporating Procreate into cookie design. So if you're trying to design a set, we'll just go through which app to download, how to load it up on your iPad, and then how some of the basics are working in layers and clipping masks.
That's great. I saw a baker, her post obviously went viral, and she was telling her customers she was no longer creating designs. It takes too long.
Mhm.
So maybe this is a great way to streamline it. And there's a happy medium in there. You don't have to go so crazy, but
Well, I'd say if you're
in
doing
there.
tiered pricing, which we talked about in a prior
Yeah.
podcast, this could be a part of that incorporated highest tier. And then I would
I,
definitely limit it to 2 change logs.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I do. Going to the gossip column. Okay, if you guys want to sign up for the Cookie College stuff, you can go to thecookiecollege.com/bootcamp and you can get a list of all those past, present, and future. If you purchase a future boot camp, it unveils itself at a designated time. If you purchase a past boot camp, it's immediately accessible.
Nice.
Would love to have you guys join us. Okay, gossip column. I saw your post on the SEM page about anonymous posting and nicknames. I guess my gossip is how it's really negatively affected groups. In groups where you'd get some flack for asking a dumb question, it's now like they know they can hide behind quote unquote unique sunflower 92 and they go out of their way to add hate where none would have been needed. Otherwise, I'm just so over it.
I gotta
Interesting.
say,
Interesting. You can apply to remove nicknames.
no
Anonymous posting,
way.
you can disable completely.
Question for you. Why is that local community group we run doesn't have anonymous as an option?
I don't know. It
Anonymous
seems
comments.
like I've always heard that there's a bunch of beta versions of Facebook floating around there testing
Um,
things. There's groups, from what I can see, there's groups I'm in where there's anonymous posting is available and nicknames are available and ones they're not, but it's all within my own account.
that's so funny. Yeah, because I'm so grateful that it didn't roll out to ours because I didn't want to have to enforce it. It is in the SEM, and I appreciate you guys sticking to the rules and not using that. There's nothing we need to be hiding under the guise of a nickname in sugar cookie marketing.
Someone in the group, she had just joined and she's like, "Oh, it just seems like you guys might be creating a problem where none existed. Because she's like, there is a place for anonymous posting when you want the anonymity. And I agree. What I think, and I'm not sure Meta's as clean cut as this to hope that it was intended as a place for you to get answers by being anonymous.
Yeah.
I think that would be nice if everyone used it that way. So in Corey's community group, we've disabled anonymous, but the nicknames hasn't rolled out to it yet. So people will say, "Can you, the admins, post this anonymously?" And the content they're posting about is medical help or unemployment and things, or
Yeah.
they're unhappy with a neighbor and they know the neighbors in the group, right? So that's a place where that would make a ton of sense. But it seems like when it's willy-nilly and everyone has access to it, it's just way to be controversial.
Yeah. Heather has a love-hate with relationship with when I let people post anonymously through me. At the end of the day, the admins can always see who's posting. So whether you think it's anon or not, the admins know who you are. So I said, if they want to post anonymously, let them send the post to me and I'll post it on their behalf. It was funny, someone posted yesterday because we see an uptick when one person posts anonymously, then there's like five that are submitted after that. This lady
Brutes.
was like, post anonymously. I'm looking for a yard guy. Please message me if you know someone. But I was like, I can't because you're anon. No one would be able to message you.
But also, why did we need anonymous? My big gripe is like people will just want to post anonymous for no reason at all. Just be like, is anybody
Yes.
knowing a good yard sale? Is like that doesn't need to be
Yeah.
anonymous. But Corey will do it, and then she'll get five more people making non-needed anonymous requests.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so
I
funny to
find
see what people want to be anon for.
Yeah, I find so in Corey and I said I don't know if this is a word, the devolution, the devolvement of community groups that allow both nicknames and anonymous posting. Corey's like it's like half sunflowers yelling at ambiguous sunglass profiles.
It was so funny. There was this local group, and she was like, "Guys, posting anon because I don't want to tell people I don't have friends, but I'm really looking for friends and I don't know how to make them." Okay. She was anon saying that. The problem was every comment was also anon. I said, "No one's becoming friends here because everyone's anonymous."
Yeah, it's really almost brought out the worst in people. What where the feature could have brought out
Yes.
the good and additional feature, it seems like it has created here's what my hot take was. They should remove anonymous completely. Allow the group admin to be able to enable or disable nicknames because the difference between anonymous posting is the post exists externally to the profile that created it.
Yeah.
Meaning like if Corey switched over to anonymous and posted it, you could never track it back to Corey. Yes, the admin knows, but it doesn't create a Rolodex of her posts. Nicknames actually create a second profile within your group profile, and that nickname profile does retain the information you've posted.
You can't post as a nickname, correct? You can only comment as a nickname.
You can post and comment as a nickname. However, you can have posts go to admin approval. You cannot have nickname comments go to
Oh.
admin approval.
That see, I don't have the option to be a nickname or a non anywhere. So I'm like, just like, I gotta say it with my whole chest, or I can't say it at all.
And really, isn't that the lesson? If you can't say it with your whole chest, maybe it wasn't worth saying at all.
Yeah, it's just so funny. Like, there was a post yesterday that went up, and she was like, "I'm trying to get something on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm not getting messaged back." She was anon saying that. The comments below were all anon, but I was like, "Well, shoot, I gotta say that like sometimes I get over inundated when 10 people want something from Facebook Marketplace, so I start with the first person and work it down." But I felt weird saying it because I'm like, they're anonymous saying it. Should I be anonymous for replying without I
I
choose
don't
something?
know. I don't know. It's not my favorite. Whoever submitted this, I agree. I think it is to the detriment of Facebook groups to have anonymous and nicknames,
Yeah.
specifically both of them at the same time. But yeah, now you can apply to remove nickname capabilities in your group, but it has to be an application.
I think a non-post way better than a non-nicknames. Post, go to post approval so you can already see if it's going to be drama or not.
But nicknames post go to post approval. You can enable that.
Oh,
It's the comments from both that cannot
yes.
be nicknames you can't disable at all. Anonymous comments you can disable, but it disables the whole feature.
Craziness. Yeah, I
Easy.
agree. I don't like it.
Upcoming events, we have our Main Street May Cookie Collab, which is what we talked about a lot today, and that's in 2 weeks on May 22nd. Get that yawning, girl.
Sorry.
June, again, Corey referenced it as one of the easiest collabs we run each year. It's the Meet the Baker collab, and you'll be posting a picture of yourself holding a cookie. I walk you through all of this stuff. I help you with copy as well, and that'll be in 6 weeks on June 19th. CookieCon Happy Hour, sponsored by Heather Campbell Brookshire. That's a lot of H's. That is in 7 weeks. I can't believe it's already June. And
I know.
CookieCon and that happy hour is June 24th. The details are in the events tab of the group. The Vendy Blenny is, thank goodness, 29 weeks away in November.
And if you're a Cookie College roomie, there is a meetup for you guys. You can find it in the Cookie College group under events.
Thank you so much, Kim Sims. Kim Sim Mims posted that. That's not her name. I just major holidays upcoming. We just passed Nurse Appreciation or Teacher Appreciation Week started this week, which means Nurse Appreciation Week started this week. I'm going to drop that one because it seems like so few people are baking for Nurse Appreciation Week now. Mother's Day is in a week, so if you haven't pestered your kid to buy you something, now would be the time. Graduation is in 5 weeks. It's area dependent, and along with the last day of school, which we have 6 weeks for us. But that's going to be very different for you guys, depending on where you
My
live.
son is in his final three.
Wouldn't it be his final two?
May 22nd is his last day.
That is also the date. What is May? Oh, the collab. His last day of school is May 22nd.
Yeah, half
So then
day.
he's in his final three. Wow, that seems so
Yeah,
early. I thought we
I
got out in
know.
June.
The thing is, because they didn't take as many days off as the county did.
Oh, nice. So last day of school, not for archers in 6 weeks. Father's Day is in 7 weeks, and then summer wean is in 8 weeks. And that's actually the cookie class kid I think you're working on.
I am working on it. It is going to be a brainchild because there's not a lot of summer ween sets out there because it's just become more popular as of late. But if you know me, I'm a Halloween freak. So I
Corey loves
love a
Halloween,
holiday.
Christmas, and Thanksgiving.
I
Like
just
you're flying
love
home
the
for Glasser.
aura, the
Tell us what
temperatures.
summerween is, because I see people asking, is it a
Okay.
summer themed Halloween or is it Halloween in the summer?
It's a summer themed Halloween. So it'll be a skull on an ice cream cone. Do
Oh,
you see? And he's dripping a
hilarious.
little
That's
bit.
stupid cute.
Yeah, I think it's a watermelon slice, but he's got a jack-o'-lantern face.
Oh, that's so
Thank
funny.
you. Thank you.
That
I'm just
is
revealing the
very
things.
cute. I can't wait to see what the other four are. And then 4th of July, Independence Day is in 9 weeks. That's crazy. That takes us through half of the year. It feels like we just started this year. I don't feel like I've hit six enough.
You know, when you
2026.
get old enough, you go into warp speed because you're
Yeah.
old. We're in warp
Oh,
speed, me and you.
the booms,
And
the
someone
boomers.
said most people live till 80. So when you're 40, me and you've hit midlife. So if you're going to have a crisis, tis the season.
I'm feeling a crisis coming on. Hello, crisis and a midsummer
Little
crisis.
crisis.
We have 2 text messages this week. You guys could get Cookie Design Lab for free. I told people who take the course,
Yeah.
the boot camp, like text in to get Cookie Design Lab. Like somebody's got to win. But now they
I,
all get it for a week. But if you want it for a month, text in to 571-556-5644. My YouTubers, Corey's holding up what looks like a shark cookie cutter. I know it's a filament we just loaded.
it's the shark, and it's for because graduation is here. To get these school logos in more of a custom shape, I used Cookie Design Lab to get me
Cookie
there.
Design Lab. And we teach you how to use that in the boot camp this week.
I
So we have
I
two
just gotta
texts.
say, Cookie Design Lab, Heather teaches you. There's nothing to teach. It's so easy. Like
Hey,
you
don't take
log
my
in,
glory.
you upload it, and then it's good to go.
It's funny. The day one is purchasing the correct printer and then we assemble it together. And I've got another printer sitting over there just for you guys. And the second day of the module, which is this Friday, it starts off with purchasing a cookie cutter, but Cookie Cutters by Nori gives us one. So you're going to download the STL she gives us. It's included in your boot camp. And then we go to Cookie Design Lab and we create a cutter. And then we go to Fusion. And I just want to show you how chaotic it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said Fusion, it's just a war zone.
And just for context, I've not ever logged into Fusion. I don't use Fusion. If that was my only option, I wouldn't make cookie cutters. But because Cookie Design Lab is out there, and this little guy, this is what Heather actually unboxed and shows you. This is the Bamboo A1 mini printer. It's all you need. It is all you need, friends.
Uh-huh. And it's pretty neat. I mean, we had this thing set up. So I think in the coursework, you're looking about around 3 hours worth of content over the 2 days.
Yeah.
So it'll be enough to kind of really get a good understanding. So we have 2 text messages this week.
Number one. Number
Number
one.
one is the area code 213, which I Googled already, is LA. It says, oh, it's about the bootcamp. For the 3D printing bootcamp, do I need to have a printer before I take the class? No. That was a good question because we used to say that the boot camps would be archived after 7 days. We did away with that. You have access to the boot camp for as long as the product is supported, which means you could take module 1 on Thursday, order the correct printer, and then wait until you get it next week, and then take module 2 whenever you get that printer or get it assembled, go back to module
Yeah.
1,
I
assemble
would
it.
say listen to the boot camp as you've ordered your printer, listen to the boot camp through so that when you get the printer, now you're just plugging and playing. You've already listened to how it works.
Yeah, I sped it up. I did let you guys see the printer self level, but I put some jazzy music and took 40 minutes and squished it into five. So,
Nice, nice,
so you
nice,
guys can
nice.
kind of see how he self levels, and the printer's pretty neat. So pretty neat for that. Pretty neat.
Pretty
Uh,
Nate.
it's
You like
pretty
my
nice. I can tell you
husband?
something. Pretty nice.
Pretty nice.
Area code 213. If you email Heather at sugarcookiemarketing.com, you get Cookie Design Lab
And yeah,
for a month.
perfect person to get it. You're asking about the 3D thing.
You get a
Yeah.
week. And so people ask this, if you've already got Cookie Design Lab or you've paid for a month, she can tack it on to the end of your month. So it's still worth texting into the podcast.
Yeah. Handy
My
dandy.
final text, what?
It's handy dandy.
Andy. If Corrie likes it and she loves to kick, yell, scream, and throw things
I
with
do.
progress, then you know something. Albany, New York. I think this is our girl, Deb. I love Deb. She always listens to the podcast. Hey, I was listening to your podcast. Thanks, Deb. The most recent one, and you talked about follow up. So, what if I have a customer and it says, hey, I want you to make a cross cupcake? And I say, sure, I can do that. Here's my cost, and here's what I need to get from you. And I need to pay up front, but you can get refunded within a certain time. Like my husband, like my usual kind of spiel, and I hear nothing, so they ghosted me. But you're saying I should still follow up with them when I'm thinking, well, they probably didn't like the price, and I'm wondering if I should have included the price. Should I just say yes, I can do it, and then wait for them to come back, and then I give them the price? Let me know. Thanks so much for all you do, Deb from Albany. Do you get what she's asking?
Yes.
She's
Deb.
saying in last week's podcast, we said, hey, follow up, follow up, follow. If somebody ghosts you, there's still the potential like, hey, just following up there. She's saying, but I think they ghosted me because the price was too high. Do I leave off the price or do I include it?
So, Deb, great question. People have microwave mindsets. I know when I get an email, most of the time I'm reading it from my watch. That's how crazy life is because I'm doing something, an email comes in. So, when you give them the quote, I would even include it in your original email with the price. I'm going to follow up in 2 days to just make sure you have any questions and you set the expectations. So, regardless, they've come to you, they do want your cookies. Now it's, do those cookies fit the event budget or do they not? We're going to set the expectation. I'm going to follow up with you in 2 days. So the door is open and it's going to be closed. You have 2 days to make the decision or move along. And that's a great way to allow yourself to follow up where you don't feel pushy and you're like, I'm here to answer questions. But it's in the guise is I'm trying to close this sale or I'm trying to move on from it.
If you feel like the price is creating the ghosting, you can add more value in your pitch or alternatives to the price. So the more value is like, I can absolutely knock these out. These are going to be exactly what you want. You're going to love them. However, if this exceeds your budget, let's say you might get the tendency that their budget's on the lower side. We can definitely work around that to find something that fits your audience. Now, let's say they still ghost. I really like the excuse where people do like, hey, I've got somebody else vying for the spot and I want to give it to you first because you got first dibs. Is this something that you want to move forward with? Can we find an option that works for your budget, or should I close this out? No harm, no foul. I'd love to work with you again in the future.
The thing is, I see you're getting hung up on is you're thinking that they don't like the thing because of the price. The problem is, if you make them beg for the price, you're going to lose them just because you're adding a whole extra step and they're still going to see the price and it might not fit the budget. So, what Heather, I think, is a great idea is add a lot of value before you quote the price in that email. So, hey, they actually come freshly baked. Every cookie is heat sealed, they're made fresh, they last for 2 weeks and here's the price of the investment. Let me know if that fits your event budget. To have them beg for the price, you are also going to get ghosted because people just don't have that kind of time.
I agree. Moving on. Thanks, guys, for texting in. That's numbers 571-556-5644. Or if you're listening to a podcast player and it has the text in or text us
Mhm.
at the top, that works as well. Moving on to our beautiful sponsors who make this podcast what it is today. Cookie Design Lab, code TWINS, get 15% off or sign up for the bootcamp, get a week free.
Yeah.
And there's a lot you can do here with 3D printing in the Cookie College in the month of May. Um, Also, I give you two SDLs, two SDLs.
That's what I said. Heather's going to be generous and she's going to give us some files. And I know Heather's digital downloads, once you take that three, has a STL file in there so you can recreate the little designs.
One of the files is my Barry from the digital
He's so very
download. So
cute.
thank you so much. Daisy makes, if you use code TWINS, you get a discount on the cake pop. Corey was making cake pops the other day
Yeah,
using the
so the
Daisy Makes
cake
method.
pop mold, it comes with a roller, which is great, and then a shelf, which you actually put them on, and that holds their shape up while you're working. So if you're unfamiliar with cake pops, you got to put the stick in. The stick needs to like make sure he's stuck in there. So During that, you put them in the little tray, and then when you're ready to pop, rock, and roll and dip them, they're ready to go.
Pop, rock, and roll. I like that. Bakety Bake code twins get you 10% off the best meringue powder you've ever seen in your life.
It is my go-to. I wouldn't sell it if I didn't like it, and that is got three ingredients already in it: vanilla extract, corn syrups, which gives you a softer bite, and white food coloring. So it's bright white. You don't have to buy it any extra if you don't want to.
Dream come true. Eddie Primera's Eddie food printer. We actually talked about it when I was talking about Corey's Coach order. Did you post that on your
Yeah.
page? Maybe it's worth
Not
going to
yet.
check out.
I'm getting the hype ready. I'm
Ah,
gonna do a whole
the
lead
big
up to it. A
unveiling.
little unveiling.
It was interesting to see how many people took, how many bakers took their own spin off of these four cookies. And Corey incorporated Eddie, and then at one point you incorporate Eddie and you pipe on top as well.
So I thought I could go a whole thing. So we have two fully piped, one eddy and piped, and it's a purse. And I said the purse flap can be piped, and the back of the purse would be eddy, and then one that was fully eddy. But I saw bakers who did all of them piped, and some that were all eddy, some that were eddy, and then like circled in hand
It was
piping. I
really
thought it
cool
was,
to
yeah,
see. That was an
everyone's
interesting, it was like a
take.
collab nobody knew they were in.
Yeah, I know.
And then last but not least is Bosch Nutrimil. And you use code Sugar Cookies. It's an affiliate link. It's the only one of these that's an affiliate. They released, and I posted about it in the SEM group, a clear bowl. Now, there were some interesting things that people noted. It has a handle on it.
Yes.
Someone said, is it glass? No, it's made of plastic, somebody else said. And then it was a top drive versus bottom drive configuration, meaning
I
that
want to
the
say the handle. The one thing that I don't like on the Bosch Universal and the Artiste that I have is when you get butter on your hands, and you have to honestly, you have to unlock it by churning it.
okay.
But when you have butter on your hands and the dough is so heavy in there, it's super hard to turn it because your hands are so slippery. So a handle would get you a handle on that process.
So you would want the handle.
You'd want the handle because it's hard to get it unlocked.
Some people said, someone's like, this is pointless. The bowl is still a bowl. But somebody's like, it will allow me to see if the incorporation of ingredients,
Yes.
specifically for the icing colors that like don't.
Sometimes on the bottom, even though it's great, it honestly to me mixes dough better than KitchenAid does. Just to know that it's fully incorporated top to bottom means you wouldn't have to waste time or put it back in and be like, I gotta have to make it go a few more rounds just to make sure.
Because I don't know if it qualifies for their affiliate discount, but if you make a review, they give it to us at a little bit of a discount. Is it something you do a review for?
I would if it fits the Artiste or the Universal.
It's a universal.
Oh yeah, then I would.
Yeah, I think it's made only for the universal.
Oh, funny.
Anyways, code Sugar Cookies on that saves you $20, but not for that bowl for specifically. However, if you do use that code and you buy the bowl, which is not qualifying for promotions yet, it does pay into the podcast, and it would be a thank you from the twins.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
my Twinterest, I have a couple here. A pot roast from Walmart. I went to Walmart's meat section and it was a pre-made pot roast. I just throw it in the crock pot. That thing is simmering now, and let me tell you, it is delectable smelling.
I want to tell you that Heather has lived a life of non-cooking at home.
I
So
have
she's
cooked at home, which
discovering
is
these things for
gross.
the first time.
A whole new world.
So her cooking of hot roast at home, the great thing about Walmart is they have like veggies, the meat,
The seasonings. All
the
I did is add
seasoning.
weta and put it in the
Yeah.
thing and start it. So it's simmering as we speak. That was my one. Another one, my Twinterest, is Michael Girdley from YouTube. He just goes and tells you why businesses closed, big businesses.
Yes.
Very interesting. I've listened to all of them. Subway, CarMax, Target, Sears.
Carmen's is not closed. It is on a decline. It is not
It's always
closed.
why it's on the decline. Team Wish. I was listening to him. I'll just let him play in the background. He's got one of those voices where you're like, oh, I could talk me to sleep.
Yeah. Maybe it puts you to sleep while you learning while you sleep.
And then my third Twinterest is more of a question. This is Bean.
That's my Beanie Baby.
This is
Mr.
Bean.
Bean.
He is the newest addition to the podcast. Here's the thing. He is little, and the lady said whatever I had to get him, even if I thought he needed to be older.
He's
She
small but mighty.
small but poopy. He is tent trained, which means she keeps him in a tent, like a cat tent when he's not frolicking. She says, put him back in the tent. It's how he knows to use the bathroom. And yeah, as soon as he goes into the tent, he uses the bathroom.
Okay.
However, if he goes into a place where there's a low overhang, he
Like a
thinks it's a
closet
tent
with a closet
with the clothes
shelf.
hanging pretty low. He walked in there and popped a squat. So, like, would I just make sure he always has multiple feet of space above him? Is everything going to be a litter box with a low hanging lid? What are my options?
Our mother has a cat that refuses to dookie in the right spot. And I just know that is not a fun life to live.
The lady was like, you gotta, when you're not playing with him, put him in the tent because that's potty training him. But I just feel like he's thinking the
You're
tent, any
thinking for him.
because I'm
Because you're like,
cleaning up
let him
after
play.
him.
Let him play. He'll have fun.
She
He meows
said,
when he gets put away.
okay, so I have these cat tunnels and these little things they can play in. He walks in that thing and he treats it like a litter box. Like, I'm like, your brain is like, this is got a roof, it's a litter box. Like, he's definitely thinks roofs mean poop. And it's
So
so
I said,
innocent.
what? Does he need to live out in the outdoors because your house has a roof? Your closets have a roof.
Maybe
Everything.
nothing can ever be low over his head. I mean, he was so innocently trying to cover up his little dukes with the air.
Yeah, poor little
That's
baby.
how I caught him. I was like, what is that sound of carpet being moved? The rustling of carpet. So those are my three things. The pot roast from Walmart. I'm loving it. I'll report back onto how it tastes here in about 7 hours. Michael Girdley on YouTube documents how big businesses made the wrong decisions.
It's interesting. I've listened to him before. You can get business marketing advice for your small business. You're not like a billion-dollar company, but just to see where they went wrong, where they
Uh-huh.
scaled too much, where they went too much in one
The
direction is
Target
interesting.
one, he said that the shtick about Target was that you go in for one thing and walk out with 30 because it had such interesting stuff. But the Target red card, the 5% off a specific
Yes.
item, meant people change their buying behavior unpredictably, is that they went in to just buy the one thing at 5% off instead of the I'm here to buy one
Yeah.
things, but I
Yeah.
leave with 30.
Interesting. Yeah, it's you can derive things for your small business just from his
Hmm.
little inputs and things. And it's the Blockbuster one had me in a chokehold.
I'll be watching that at lunch today. Okay, do you have anything Twinterest?
My Twinterest is I love finding nature on my walks. I've been doing this 10K steps a day kind of thing. So I've love when I encounter nature on my little nature walks. And I found a turtle today and I talked to him. He was not scared. I said, you are very rotund and you're on your way to the watering hole. I could tell. So skedat, because if someone else finds you, they might move you because my Twinteresting fact, they live in 1 square mile their entire lives and they live between 30 to 100 years when not messed with by humans. If you were to take them from their 1 square mile, they don't know where the food or the water source is, and it tends to cause them to
Mm.
die earlier.
My confession is when we were growing up, we did put the nail polish on the shell. In hindsight, the shell is a part of the
This
body.
was before the internet,
This
before
is
we
before
knew.
AI could have written the caption and tell us not to
I
do that.
know, I know. Yeah, but no, we did find the nail polish guy years and years after.
Yeah, so he really did live it within that little mile, which
We're
I'm
like, hey,
sure to him,
you.
he's like, this is the biggest world planet in the thing. If Bean was there, he'd have been like, I can't wait to poop everywhere in this 1 square mile.
Mr. Bean, you be nice to my little baby man.
Mr. Bean, we are nice. He is in a tent currently. I have a lot of tents. It's not my best look. The tents are everywhere.
You're such a bachelor in a bachelorette
I
life.
was like, I had to, repairman had to come over and he walked in and I was like, oh my goodness, what does he think? I'm running tent city inside.
Heather's like, I'll get a couch later. So like her living room is an office.
Here's
with
what's
one
going to
chair.
change your perspective on housing. It's a collection of places to put your butt. It is seats in every room. And you're like, here's a
It
different
is.
configuration of seats. Here's seats that are comfortable. Here's a seat where you can lie vertically in it. Horizontally. I'm sorry. Here's a stool, a higher seat. It's just when you count the number of seats you're putting in a house, your car is 2 moving seats.
Yeah, no, we constantly want to sit. I want to find a good sitting spot.
So you guys enjoy buying your seats. As for me and my house, we'll poop in the corner.
We'll poop in the corner.
Okay.
Guys, we'll see you in the group. Join SEM if you aren't already in there. We are letting people in. Just make sure you answer the questions and we will see you on the inside.
Bye-bye.